even though we did see a hug of sorts between leaders, the larger question for the opposition parties still is differences between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, differences between the Congress and the TMC. Have they been ironed out before we get to meatier issues as far as opposition unity is concerned?
And the Prime Minister did make a reference to that when he said that the Congress and left has let down its party workers, because we saw the poll violence which took place. And in Bengal, frankly speaking, not just the left, but even the Congress party was extremely upset with the TMC. And Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary had blamed the Trinamool Congress for the attack on the Congress workers. See, politically speaking, it hurts leaders like Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who belongs to the otherwise Congress stronghold of Murshidabad. The more the Congress party, if it starts cozying up to a TMC or has an alliance with the Trinamool Congress, politically speaking, it hurts his case, and therefore he's always going to resist the Trinamool Congress. But what is a larger political strategy? The larger political strategy is that we may have a differences at the micro level. The AAP versus the Congress party in Punjab and Delhi, the Trinamool Congress and the Congress party in Bengal. But at a macro level, we need to keep our differences aside, keep it in the backdrop. This doesn't mean that we cannot compete with each other at the micro level, but at the larger national level, we all of us need to come together. But what it really does is it confuses the entire picture. How do one explain it to your party cadre? How is it that the same cadre which alleges that the Trinamool Congress is attacking them in Bengal also put its hands and heads together and fight it out together for the Lok Sabha elections? The same is the argument as far as Punjab and Delhi goes. And that's one party cadre. Second, in terms of the voters also stand confused that how is it that if at the state level these parties are fighting each other,
True.
At the national level we are expected to think that they are one.
Right. Pai, let me bring you also in the conversation. Even as the Prime Minister has heated at the opposition parties, saying that this is just an alliance of the corrupt and nothing else, the opposition is saying, look at the BJP, they themselves are rattled. The NDA is getting together some 30-odd parties. Most of the parties, and this is what the opposition is saying, they have no national relevance. This means the BJP is rattled because they now feel that the opposition has a real chance for 2024.
Well, what the BJP has been saying, Riddhima, essentially is one thing very clearly, that it is about India. It's not just about having, one government in the center. And that's one of the reasons that every time that the Prime Minister speaks at any election rally, he speaks about double engine sarkar, he speaks about double engine growth. He speaks about having representatives from various parts of the country. So obviously, when the NDA looks at its ally fold, it looks at various parties probably who may not be significant nationally, but they do have a presence in states like the Northeast and, in some states in the South as well. So that's what the entire argument has been. As far as the Prime Minister is concerned, the Prime Minister continues to levy his attack on the opposition, continues to talk about the corruption of the opposition, especially with some parties, including the Congress party. And his fact that, this Dukan is just about, spreading casteism and spreading about corruption, that is actually taking a potshot and taking a dig at Rahul Gandhi, who's spoken about Mohabbat ki Dukan wherever he's travelled in the recent as well. So obviously the attack coming in from the Prime Minister, remember in 2014, Riddhima, when the BJP came into power with that overwhelming majority, it was at the back of the corruption of the UPA, and that's something which they continue to mount their attack on. And the Prime Minister has taken the lead, starting the 27th of June when we heard him speak about this, guarantee of corruption, because the opposition parties in their states have made certain guarantees. There is no guarantee that these guarantees will be fulfilled, is what the Prime Minister said. The only guarantee that can be fulfilled is that you will get a corrupt government.
Pallavi, I want to bring you back in the conversation. Payal, I'll just request you to stay on with us. When the first meeting happened, as far as the opposition parties were concerned, you had also reported extensively that at that point, they just wanted to get all parties on board and not get into the nitty-gritty in terms of a common face, seat sharing, so on and so forth. This time around, we're understanding they will get into the nitty-gritty. Seat sharing has been a big concern as far as the opposition parties are concerned. Also, possibly a new name as far as the alliance is concerned. Is it possible that we could have some outcomes by the end of the meeting on those lines?
Well, the Patna meeting didn't go off well. By that yardstick, the Bangalore one is much better, because at least the AAP is attending and AAP and Congress is talking to each other. So there's plenty of matters on the agenda. First, of course, is in the backdrop of the ordinance issue, disqualification of Rahul Gandhi issue. What they're all going to be talking about is that how this government and the BJP are systematically misusing investigative agencies to target the political opponents. I mean, if you remember in Tamil Tamil Nadu yesterday also, today also, the ED doing an investigations into a DMK minister's house, and he was picked up for questioning. All of this is very much going to be on the platter, and of course the Prime Minister's silence on Manipur. So, but I think the compulsion on them is also to come out with a kind of a positive framework, as a kind of positive alternative. So there is going to be this kind of work beginning on a common minimum program or manifesto, as they want to call it. And yes, 3 to 4 names are already being mulled, and that name is something which could be finalized and announced today. I think it will be also interesting to see that a new name and a new alliance essentially means the end of the UPA. And Sonia Gandhi was the convener of the UPA.
Yeah.
Will she become then the head of the new alliance which is formed? Who's going to become the convener of that? I think these are the nitty-gritties which are going to be discussed today.
Okay. I'll just request Payal and Pallavi to stay on with us. We also have our colleague Harish also now joining us on the broadcast, and he in fact is joining us live on the broadcast from Bengaluru. Harish, good morning to you as well. While Payal and Pallavi are, talking to us about plans as far as the BJP and the opposition parties for 2024 are concerned, help us understand what's happening in Bengaluru. Some leaders were expected to arrive this morning as well. What is the kind of activity that you're seeing around you?
Well, just a short while ago, you've had Sharad Pawar landing in Bengaluru. Remember, that was one name which was being speculated since yesterday on whether he would turn up or not. And there were several question marks. And yesterday, in fact, Jairam Ramesh went on record saying that the meeting starts only today, that is on Tuesday, and it would be too premature for anyone to jump into conclusion and saying that two leaders are backing out. That's not right. And today, Sharad Pawar has landed. Perhaps in the next 15 minutes or so, he will be reaching Taj West End Hotel. Right now, a photo opportunity is going on here, and soon after that, the actual meeting will begin. As Pallavi rightly pointed out, several aspects to be discussed, but Congress making it very clear that perhaps some of these contentious issues might not see a decision today. They are saying some of them will need 2 or 3 rounds of meeting, indicating already that there might not be a decision on some of the crucial ones. Perhaps who will be the face? Will there be a face at all in the first place? Whether seat sharing, all these aspects perhaps will need more rounds of meeting. But there are low-hanging fruits. For example, what will be the name of this particular alliance?
Yeah.
Or whether to have a common minimum program at all right now, or have it at a much later stage. These are aspects that perhaps are not so contentious and can be decided here today.
Yeah. And Harish, as we continue this conversation, we're now getting the first visuals from inside the meeting venue as well. As Harish was pointing out, there is a photo opportunity that's taking place. So you can see Rahul Gandhi, Mamta Banerjee, Sonia Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, Sharad Pawar, many others, Nitish Kumar, all on your screens. This is a show of strength as far as the opposition is concerned. About 26 opposition parties in attendance, Raghav Chadda, many others on your screens before the big meeting actually kicks off. I actually want to go back to Payal now, and I want to understand the criticism that's coming the BJP's way. Taking on from what Pallavi was also saying, one of the biggest criticisms against the BJP has been as far as the misuse of central agencies is concerned. And the opposition time and again has said that the only parties that are forming an alliance with the BJP are the ones that want their cases dropped against them, because the opposition says the minute you jump ship, all those cases are dropped against those leaders. How is the BJP responding to that criticism?
The BJP is very vehemently responded to this. If you remember just a couple of days ago when that whole, hoo-ha happened over the ED director's term not being extended beyond 31st of July, you saw the opposition parties jump up and say that this is the lesson that BJP needed to learn. And there you saw the response coming in from the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, saying that the agencies are doing their work and they will continue to do their work. They are not cage parrot like it used to be in the earlier times. And of course, the agencies will work irrespective of who occupies the post. So if you're not corrupt, you have nothing to worry. And if you're corrupt, you will be taken to task. That's what the response of the Home Minister has been. Also, the Prime Minister has also said this in veil terms, saying that the only guarantee that his government is going to be able to give to the people of the country is that anybody who's corrupt will be shown the doors of the jail and they will be taken to task as well. So that's the kind of response that you've seen as far as the BJP is concerned on issues like this as well. Yes, there are several parties in the opposition who've alleged that yes, the BJP is like a washing machine. Essentially, leaders who are corrupt have been pulled up. But the moment they join the BJP fold, they seem to be whitewashed as well. So that's the kind of allegation that the BJP has been countering. But they've been saying that unlike, the instructions going from a particular party's office or from a particular residence of a tall Congress leader, at least now the agencies are working independently. That's the argument of the BJP.